Hey everyone, it's Dinah, and we are back for more of Dexter New Blood. This is on to episode number 6 of New Blood. Last time we had, what do we have? We had, it ended with some slightly more kind of elevated tension between Kurt and Dexter after Kurt kind of showed up and did some very, very personal, slightly more intimate coaching of his own with Harrison, encouraging him to embrace violence and anger and direct it onto his opponent, which he did, and that resulted in him literally snapping. I say it looked like a snap, like from the elbow and everything, like the elbow joint, like the snapping of the elbow joint. But I don't know if it was actually just like an actual breakage of the forearm or what. But he still broke the kid's arm and everything, which actually ended in the match actually being ended that much. And don't know if he would be disqualified or actually kind of kicked out of the team for that either. Because I think I'm pretty sure that was his first match as well. So I think he doesn't have enough of like an actual credit or a history on the actual team to really stay there after that as well. So don't know if they're going to suspend him or if they're going to kick him off the team or what's going to happen, but I don't know. Either way, that happened, and I think given what we had seen be explored between Kurt and Dexter previously throughout the episode too, I think Dexter knows that Kurt did that for like an actual fact and has a point too, because then Dexter not only saved Molly from Kurt, but then actually kind of exposed his whole underground kind of motel style kind of room that he kept under his kind of lodge and everything, with like a trap door and a corridor leading to that one and only room and everything. So, and it kind of confirmed kind of Molly's kind of growing suspicions that Kurt was actually leading her down there to trap her and potentially kill her and everything. So, and even her actually admitting that like she started to suspect that she might become one of the victims in her podcast. So yeah, Kurt's kind of darkness and his kind of true like actions are starting to actually be revealed slightly more now. I think even Dexter himself actually might be growing ever so slightly suspicious, but I think now he's not really suspicious beyond like Kurt is a bit of a weirdo and he's actually trying to get close to Harrison now, and this is pretty much kind of step kind of maybe 2 or 3 after having initially offered him a job at the cafe and everything. And even giving him like a drone and actually smoothing himself up, but actually buttering up to him as like an actual father figure when Dexter himself is actually so absent and closed off from Harrison's life and everything. So tensions are rising between Dexter and Kurt. I think that's the safest way to put this and everything. And yeah, I think Kurt's already kind of built up a kind of collective kind of body count over the years and everything, and a body count which was actually somewhat kind of exposed even more harshly when Angela and her fellow officer actually uncovered the cave of bodies. I say bodies. I think we only saw one body there, so I don't know if it's that cave, but then the bodies are actually still hidden in different places, or if it's only like that body in that one cave or something. But I think that body was also Iris's, so it actually landed a particularly harder hit on Angela in the end, at which point she actually decided to phone up Dexter and say, you know what, I need Dexter, the actual forensic scientist from my MPD, not Jim Lindsay, the undercover, dude who's been living in Iron Lake all this time. So, and we also had Audrey and Harrison sleeping together for the first time. That happened. I think he snuck into a room, kind of just for like a nice kind of somewhat therapeutic kind of chat with her, like the one person I think he feels he can actually trust and everything. So, and she was more than willing to be like an open and friendly set of ears and everything. And then that kind of talk session turned into something more and everything. So there was that, and then of course Angela kind of caught them in the morning and very, very hastily and very, very adamantly delivered him right back to Dexter's front doorstep and everything. So yeah, it would be interesting to see exactly where that leads. But I think they did actually have like a nice kind of genuine kind of talk beforehand too, of like both of their kind of shared histories and shared traumas and their shared kind of outlooks on the world and who they are and where they belong and where they come from and all that kind of stuff. So it was like an actual nice genuine talk between the two of them that then further instilled actual kind of physical trust between them and everything that led to the night together in bed. So And I think, yeah, going forward, I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see exactly how much more of Kurt's kind of true agenda kind of gets uncovered, exactly why he's doing this, how long he's actually been doing this for, and what other bodies are there. Because I think them revealing Iris's kind of body was, I think, more like an actual closer hit kind of connection to Angela. But then she obviously has been tracking more and more like her as years gone by. So I think it would be interesting to know if he's actually responsible for any of them, even if all of them, or if it's actually just Iris, and then seeing like how he actually has disposed of any other bodies over the years, and how part of the reason Dexter chose Iron Lake was it being like an actual small town, like a small community and everything. So it would be interesting to know exactly how many places Kurt has very kind of obviously illegally kind of hired out as like an actual dumping ground for bodies, or if it's like one ground for each individual body, or if there are others where he's actually buried more than one body in more than one place or something. So I don't know. But the only other place that's not his is actually directly under it was directly under directly under Dexter's house where he had actually buried Matt's body, but then he cremated that later on. So I mean, I wonder if Kurt's used that then. I wonder if maybe Angela's Iris's body is the one that he's actually kept buried in the cave, because no one goes anyway, because then there used to be a bear there, so I think he maybe trusted that or didn't really know, but then he just thought no one would really go in the caves anyway. But then maybe if he actually had the same idea as Dexter, and actually any other bodies he's had, he's actually buried them, or like burned them away. But then Chloe, and I think maybe the girl before her as well, like he actually embalmed their bodies out and everything. I think Chloe, he shot her through the face and he tried to reconstruct her face, but then that didn't work, so he just kind of ended up beating her face in. But I think the girl before her, he killed her, and I think he embalmed her. He pumped her body out of like emptied the original fluids out, and then he pumped new ones in. So I don't know if that kind of changes the decay process, or maybe kind of did changes what you get from it, like maybe the smell or something. Or I don't know exactly what that might do. Because I think obviously like everything inside decaying also kind of most likely adds to the smell as well. So I think maybe if you change what's inside, or if you take out what's inside, then maybe it actually smells less, or it decays kind of slower maybe, because then only what's on the outside is decaying. I don't know, I'm not an expert on any of this, so we'll see how what it is as we go on. So yeah, that is pretty much, I think, for the most part, that's pretty much all I've got. So I think it'll be cool to see how all of this continues to unfold as we move forward. So yeah, but that is pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode number 7 of Dexter New Blood. Let's go.
Dexter Morgan, forensics expert from Miami Metro.
Yeah, time to step back into those boots, the professional ones, not the immoral ones. Is he gonna get nostalgic about this too? Because his career was also like an outlet for him too, like investigating murder and just being around blood. A shot
from behind.
Kurt. He shoots them in the back. This has Kurt written all over it. This is Kurt written all over it.
She was still alive when she was buried.
What?
The weight of the rocks held her down, but she tried to dig herself out.
Oh, fuck. So he buried her when she was like dying. So she was bleeding out then. Because then this means he didn't really he didn't actually pump her with the fluids and shit then. God, Kurt, you just... Not enough words. Not enough fucking words.
She bit her attacker.
Ah, she bit
like
Kurt.
It's a long shot, but you could send this in for processing.
Kurt's DNA.
There's a slight chance there's enough DNA to reveal the killer.
Slight chance, but how close would it be though? That would definitely that would definitely expose Kurt.
You think it's got legs?
And arms, and a body, and an isolated...
Yeah, too much to say no to. Too much to say no to.
Thanks, Dexter.
She may have loved Dexter, but yeah, spoilers. Spoiler flashbacks. I didn't forget about those. She may have trusted skin of her teeth. Oh boy. She may have she may have loved Jim, but Dexter is the one that she trusted to get the job done. So it counts for something.
How many parents with missing children looking for answers they don't want to hear?
They finally found her body. Hey, now they can bury her. That's the one good thing, the one decent thing to come out of this. Now they can finally bury Iris and have a funeral even. How many fucking years have they waited for that?
We're both pretty hungry, I guess.
Just trying to bulk up for wrestling.
Is he going back in after last night? Is he allowed back in?
Kurt suddenly disappears. Harrison is crushed. He never finds out who Kurt really was.
Does he need to know who Kurt really is? Like, Do you need that much? Do you need that?
Angela's already gunning for Kurt. She's building a case.
That would be a
Once
good
you
way to
arrest him,
find
it's
out.
all
What
over.
happened to, yeah. Like if you kill him and then he finds out, then that'll just put you in a bad,
Leave it to the
in
police
bad
to
taste
handle.
as well. Okay, maybe. Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh. I did not need to see that. That is just uncalled for.
Did you hear that?
Is
Is
it
that the
some...
sound of you not needing a warrant?
Oh shit. Power couple? Maybe? Power couple? More like a power pairing? A power pairing. I think they're still on a break.
Bleach.
Never
Oh,
a good sign.
Did he burn the room down or did he... Because he hasn't had anyone in here since then, has he? It's only been like one day. He destroyed the
Son of a
room.
bitch.
He emptied the room.
This shit has been totally stripped. So your entire case hinges on a 25-year-old DNA sample that your boyfriend found illegally?
Yeah.
It's looking more and more like Deb's right. I may have to kill him.
If the DNA test doesn't pan out, because again, he has to be in the system. The test has to be strong enough as well to catch him. You know, it might not even go to case if none of that pans out.
Last night, you broke that kid's elbow. He tapped out, but you kept going.
You know what? Figured I asked. I'm gonna be really busy this weekend. Anyway.
Harrison.
I gotta go.
Oh, is he suiting up again? Is the motel murderer suiting up again? No, oh, that's Harrison. Oh shit, what is he? What's he dressed up like this for? Oh, is he what? Power washing? He's doing the real life power washing simulator. He's dressed up exactly like Dexter when he does a kill. When he does a kill, when he cleans up and everything. Did he poison the cake? Did he spike the cake? Would he do that out here in the public in broad daylight?
Well, for some reason, he wants to be here freezing his ass off instead of at home.
You seem to have the same problem with your own son, always disappearing into the night. I don't know about you, but I would love to hear Matt's side of the story. I bet it's good.
Duel of the dads.
Hey, Chief.
They're here to
Nice
arrest him?
surprise. What can I do for you?
Get up.
Excuse me?
Do what she says.
Is he under arrest? Did the DNA come through?
Kurt Caldwell, you're under arrest for the murder of Iris Broussard.
Who?
Well, shit. It came through. That quickly. I mean, she did push it through to Rush and everything.
Coach, what the hell?
Yeah, right?
He's not coach right now. He's an officer, Harrison.
Smile for the camera, Kurt.
Like you kept me in the loop about Kurt's secret cabin? You know, the one you visited while you were interviewing him behind my back?
I can see how that looks bad, but you know, you and I have different tactics.
Help me move some cargo.
Move cargo? What kind of cargo? What, drugs?
How did you get that scar?
Scar on his
I
hand.
work with my hands. Listen, sweetheart. I feel for you. I do. You must be devastated. I never consented to a sample.
You already gave us a swab, remember? During the search for your missing, or as you now claim, found son.
That's a good point. I thought, yeah, that's a good point.
Give this to your dad, okay?
How do you know Dexter? Oh, could it be like a warning from Kurt, maybe? Yeah, to stay away from his shit. What is that? Is that a screw?
What the fuck is this?
Is it like a pun? Like, I'm screwing with you? Or like, don't screw with me? Or screw with me and I'll screw you right back? Oh, it's just people. It's the community. It's people. Yeah, the Seneca community as well, yeah. So it's like a Seneca funeral for them, for Iris then.
You have him now. Make him pay.
This is my life. A wolf among sheep.
Hello? Come on.
He's freeing the sheep?
Go. Come on.
Why is he freeing the sheep?
Mrs. Gross's sheep got out again.
Is he letting... Oh, distracting the cops maybe? Distracting the cops with a loose sheep, a wild sheep chase? He wants to talk to him. He wants to talk to Kurt. Okay, he wants to talk to Kurt himself.
We can never erase all of our sins.
Does he
Not
know?
even fire will do that.
Oh, so he knows about Dexter. He burning.
Hey,
Matt.
Jim, you remember that night that you picked me up in front of the tavern, gave me a ride
Could
home?
he smell the ash? Is that why? Could he smell the ash? I have a feeling he can smell the ash.
You think you know everything. Titanium doesn't melt. Fascinating.
Titanium doesn't melt? What does that mean? Titanium doesn't melt. Titanium screws. There was titanium in Matt's body. So the titanium in Matt's body wouldn't...
He knows.
Oh, so that's what was in Matt's body, I think that's what was in Matt's body, so that's how he knows. Yeah, that's just one of the screws that was in his son, because I think he had like an accident, I think, didn't he? Like in the car or like a boat or something.
My dad, Roger, was a drunk. Knocked my mom around. She would get restraining orders against him, but it never seemed to do any good. He used to pick up women.
Is he gonna blame this all on his dad and be like he was a bad influence? Oh,
He liked to slap him around.
and even this song playing as well.
I saw her get in the truck.
Is
with
he
my
gonna
dad.
blame his dad? Say his dad was the
He
one?
was in such a foul mood. I really should have said something to her. I should have stopped her.
Well, no, could this be a cover? Could the boy have been Matt? Could the young boy have been Matt?
Fucking bitch! Trying to help you, don't you fucking understand?
So could this have been Kurt's first kill then? Because if this was Kurt's first kill, then there's no reason for it to be as methodical as all the ones that came after her. And he could very easily have been actually trying to help her compared to what his dad would have done.
He did this. That DNA you found, that's my dad's.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
No, he's
Sorry for
looking,
your
he's
loss.
looking way too smug. He's looking way too smug. I would not shake that hand. No. Is he not going to notice that's been straightened? And he's going to be like, oh yeah, someone's been in here. I would never hang my things properly. Has he got more messages to give out to Dexter?
Elbert Kane, $5,000.
$5,000.
Who the hell is Elbert Kane?
Kurt's been released.
Holy shit, that's great.
I'm gonna have to kill him.
Yeah, the legal system can't help you this time. He slipped through the cracks.
I don't know what to believe. What to tell her mom.
In my job, you learn to live with unsatisfying endings.
You found her body, you gave them that kind of a, an ending.
No, Kurt and I were sitting at the bar, and Jim was actually sitting at this table. I mean, can you hear what Brian and Fred are fighting about from over here?
Yeah.
Unless...
Take a pastrami on a ride.
Yeah, she knows he charged his phone. Yeah.
But it was also weird that he was eating pie with Kurt after he knew Kurt was my prime suspect.
First, Kurt is creepy, and now Jim.
Except Angela knows that Jim is
If he
really
wasn't a
Dexter
boyfriend,
Morgan.
I would totally do a deep dive.
God, he's got murder eyes. And he's watching Molly. He's watching Molly. He's got murder eyes and he's watching Molly.
Yeah, you.
Oh, it's them.
You know our captain's out for the fucking season because of you, right?
They're from the school, aren't they? Oh, he's got the shaving blade again. He's got the shaving razor again. Oh!
Fuck! How psycho!
That's enough.
Okay.
I always had bad dreams.
Oh.
Nightmares. I remember everything.
Oh, he remembers him too. He remembers Trinity. He remembers Trinity.
There. Daddy will be home soon.
Oh, gosh. It's even more fucked up they actually brought John Lithgow back to film that. God.
I have to tell Harrison everything.
Oh! Huh? Who's that? That's the guy. That's the guy who gave Harrison the titanium nail. The screw even. Oh, gosh. A lot more confrontation between Kurt and Dexter in this one. A lot more confrontation. I think I do like the different kind of bases they actually covered in this episode. Like in instigating nostalgia by bringing back a lot of what was actually so great and well written, well developed about the first kind of original series, like Dexter's first time. Like I think it all kind of did seem jam packed into one episode, but I don't think it ever really kind of felt fully kind of, you know, too much or rushed or anything like that. Like, it actually felt like it ran at like a nice enough pace, and I think again that there could very easily be more of it to come in the next episodes too. So actually we're kind of actually building up to a more kind of satisfying kind of final kind of confrontation, like a final kind of ending. His first time in years actually casing like a proper opponent's kind of environment, like with the Office. I think that one was more brief, but then his first time actually did like an actual forensic kind of thing too, and even that one was kind of slightly more rushed, because again I think she did say she could only get him about an hour before the cavalry came in. So within that time he actually did find some very promising and interesting kind of leads, with Angela being the only one who actually knows he's actually really Dexter Morgan and not just Jim Lindsay. Definitely seemed to offer some kind of leeway and to bring in that side of him back into the line, especially like in a way that that was the true side of him that was actually kind of being allowed to breathe as he once was again, as opposed to it kind of being like an actual way of like him being forced out, or him having to, you know, because he's been Dexter Morgan before, but in like a very isolated sense. But now he actually feels like he's allowed to be Dexter Morgan again, in a way that someone actually needs him to be as well. So it felt good to see in that sense, that actually just bring in those kind of core aspects of Dexter's history out, and his experience out as well. Knowing Kurt and how long he's been doing this in Iron Lake, since before Dexter actually arrived here as well, I think it's somewhat more of a sign that he's actually been playing this game too long for anyone to really kind of discover him or rat him out. Like I think that's even why the DNA was only actually really like a partial match, and even then not really enough either. Like only like a 67% match as well. So, you know, for that to go forward and give him away would be too much of like an actual kind of detriment on his kind of like for lack of a better term, for his legacy. Like for him, he's been doing this far too long. He's been very kind of meticulous, is that articulate? I think meticulous, like immaculate with his planning. Like he's planned ahead. He's been very careful as time has gone on too. But yeah, I mean, even with his backstory too, I think I do kind of wonder, like, you know, like obviously what his statement was that like the DNA was actually like a match to his father, and his father was the one who actually had like a history of doing that, and then he did a divorce too. But then given the flashbacks, because then oftentimes the way those kind of stories are told too, or at least like the way that those kind of like scenes are edited and everything, and the speech, the dialogue is one thing, but then the actual kind of scene being played out and everything actually shows the truth and everything. So then that did leave me wondering, like, you know, like when the scene played the first time with the music, then I thought, oh, maybe then that's why Kurt actually is actually so like linked to that song because of trauma, and he can then dance along with it in like a really messed up kind of like a way, because he's linked to the song like that. So then maybe I thought then, but then afterwards I thought the guy in the truck scene did seem older, but then obviously not significantly older, but then at that age I think, you know, you, unless you actually kind of hit 50s or something, then you probably kind of wouldn't really kind of show signs of aging. But then he did still definitely seem older than Iris at that point. So then, especially like him being a truck driver and him having that kind of a job, I feel like if you're younger than like a certain age, you probably might not be in that kind of a job or be in that kind of a position. So like it definitely does feel more like it was actually showing like Matt, like especially like with the history that Matt has with his dad too, like his dad only really kind of bailing him out of accidents and everything, and his dad also like not really being around much and being like an asshole, like as Matt described in his final moments before Dexter killed him too. I think it definitely kind of feels like there was a lot about his dad that like Matt didn't really kind of mention in that time. But then the one way in which he did describe his father was like, you know, like my father will rain down hell upon you. So he actually did like he did feel able to describe him as like an actual, like a really kind of ominous and like an actual threat and everything. So could have just been him being emotional in his final moments to try and, you know, elicit some kind of reaction. But still, given the scene we saw, I'm willing to bet that like Kurt's dialogue, like not fully matching up with the actual scene being played out, was intentional, and it actually did show Matt growing up under Kurt instead, and then Kurt actually kind of growing up and actually being like, not to fully discount what Kurt's kind of actual backstory could have been, like maybe his dad actually was that, but then the scene we saw was him growing up and actually doing that to thing, because I think maybe then it could have also played in reverse too. Maybe they actually showed older Kurt first beating girls in the back of the truck and Matt watching, and then like actually afterwards he actually showed Kurt actually conducting his first kill against Iris and stuff. But then maybe the backstory actually really was true. But then it still fucked Kurt up to, or it still fucked kind of Kurt Jr. up to an actual measurable degree, wherein he thought he was actually saving the girl, but then, because then the messed up kind of thing he did was actually shoot her to actually stop her from running away, because then he thought that because then he, even in the truck, maybe his actual mentality could have been that if he picks her up, then maybe it would actually be a safer option compared to his father or even someone like her, like him picking Iris or another woman up or something. So maybe then this could be the one woman he could actually save from her. But then he went too far and he just kind of he mentally spiraled or something. So then of course the fact that he actually wanted to actually do something or in opposition to what his father would have done, but then it not going his way because then Iris fought back and stuff like that, and he wanted to take her home, but then she refused, and then he kind of got pissed off because then she wasn't listening and she wasn't understanding what he was saying. So then the fact that she fought back and everything pissed him off even more, and then she was escaping. So then Dexter did say the actual DNA on her teeth and the kind of thingy, I think it was actually the marks on her boots actually showed that she was buried alive too. So then that shot, I think again it would also make sense because then that would mean that Kurt killing Iris, so that would have been his actual first kill, which would be messy and just all sorts of impractical and everything. So then he wouldn't have drained her blood, he wouldn't have drained her body, he wouldn't he wouldn't have drained her blood, but then she would still bleed out on the way to the caves and everything, and then he would just dump her there and stuff. So then she actually tried to she was still half alive and she tried to dig her way out, but then the weight of the rocks would have been too much and everything, and then of course she bit his hand in the actual truck and everything, so that's when the DNA came from and everything. So and then Kurt still has that scar, so I'm surprised that didn't really kind of push the DNA likelihood forward. But I don't know. I guess it's not completely implausible that watching his dad kind of do that to women could also have an actual a directly kind of linked kind of negative kind of impact on him, and then that would lead him to actually wanting or even trying in his own way to actually save someone so badly he ends up killing them. But then that leads him spiraling out of control, and he ends up actually killing more women along the way too. So then he kind of tries to save them, but then the trauma in his mind of watching his dad do that then leads him to keeping them safe in his underground room and then doing what he does. So I don't know, it could really go either way, but I think that does feel pretty strong. Deb this time actually being after all this time actually being an active advocate for the more dark passenger driven side of Dexter did seem interesting. I think so far her focus has been on kind of connecting with distancing Harrison completely to then connecting with him on a more human level, and then also actually kind of denying Dexter the opportunity or the option to actually tell Harrison the truth in fear of what it might do to him and everything, and judging Dexter profusely on the way along the way and everything. But now it's now Kurt it's the kind of the analysis and the kind of conclusion that Kurt is a clear and present kind of threat in Dexter's life and to the potentially to the lives of others who live in Iron Lake as well. So then her being her being that kind of dark passenger rep in his mind, being you know what, kill him. You have to. This is the logical way forward. All the evidence points this way. The legal system is going to help. Even that very extensive kind of statement on oh yeah, sure, trust the cops to actually get involved with this and actually make things right, because that always works out. And then even the actual blood stain showing up on her abs and everything where she got shot and everything, just oh god, yeah, but then I think that being the actual kind of internal kind of conflict in his mind, because then again, the last time he actually did go against the cops and actually do things his own way, eventually it led to Deb finding out and her being vehemently against it, and even it kind of biting him on the arse a few times too, especially with LaGuerta finding out about everything too. So him going against the cops and doing things his own way has worked out in the short term, but not so much in the long term. So with this one, and especially now with this one too, especially with Angela knowing that he's Dexter, but then also only knowing that he's actually a former. She doesn't fully know the fact that he actually used to be a serial killer, and he's actually the Bay Harbor Butcher that Molly has a segment on her podcast about and everything. So now I think and then again in this episode they actually explored the route of police intervention and using the legal system and everything, and then it didn't work out. The statement didn't work out in his favor. The DNA test was only like a partial kind of thing that the jury would never allow through, as the DA said and everything. So. And now also knowing he's free directly after that, as the law would allow to. Dexter has now come to the conclusion that he must kill Kurt and everything. So one episode managed to explore that pretty decently enough and everything, and it still managed to cover all the bases they needed, and it still managed to explore all those routes and everything. So I was even trying to think of this word during the reaction too. I think the one. Closure. The one piece of closure that the actual family, the artist's family got in this one was actually them finding a body. Because then, even if Kurt wasn't forced to pay the price straight away, be it legally or by blood at the hands of Dexter, at least he was arrested for it. And then, but then most of all, her body was found, it was recovered, and they can have an actual nice kind of Seneca kind of funeral, like a Seneca ceremony for her. They can burn the body or cremate her. They can actually say goodbye properly this time, instead of actually kind of being under suspense of years of her being missing, presumed dead, or being dead and not knowing where she is or where she's been or what's happened to her and things. So I think that's at least the one piece of closure that they can have, and they can finally say goodbye and actually finally have everyone kind of be there and everything. So the one good thing to come out of all of this being that the family gets closure, and the body finally is actually properly laid to rest in a nice peaceful traditional way in accordance with the Seneca community and everything. So that was really nice. That was actually really lovely. And even Audrey and Angela actually being there and being present, and Audrey actually being able to be there as an actual member of the community and as an actual member of the family and everything, being able to say goodbye to her best friend. Throughout this episode, Kurt kept on going on about actually meeting Jim outside the tavern, and him being like, oh, it was snowing that night. Do you remember it was snowing and everything? But then, and then him, the more he, the first time he mentioned that, and then even the first time he said, then we met outside the tavern, and you took me for a ride and everything, almost like it was fate and everything, even the way he kind of hyperfixated on that one event, to that one meeting and everything, and then what happened. I figured, he might have some idea of what really went down that night, and then of course him bringing it up later on in the jail cell as well. Then later confirmed that he actually knew about Dexter having actually burned Matt's body. So then again, he was still pretty vague about it. He was still very, very vague about it, and even his ominous sort of line titanium doesn't melt. The way that was phrased, kind of for some reason, it brought my mind back to those videos you'd see back in just years back of jet fuel can't or won't melt steel beams. For some reason the way that was phrased made me think of that, but then I was I don't know exactly what this might mean. But then titanium doesn't, maybe it's metaphorical, but then no, in this case it's actually meant to be literal, titanium screws won't melt, and titanium screws are what was in Matt's legs. I think he had a boating accident, I do believe, when he was riding a boat out on the sea, and then he actually crashed into another boat or something, and then I think maybe could have been another kind of car accident or something. But then either way, he had an accident that I think clearly kind of fucked up his leg, and I think it actually left him with titanium screws in his knee or his thigh or something. So but burning Matt's body in the incinerator wouldn't melt down the screws. So then the screws in Matt's leg being the proof that Kurt needs to actually know that Jim not only killed his son, but then also burned his body to try and get rid of the evidence and actually keep the police away from his property and everything. So yeah, so Kurt knows that much about Jim. He actually knows that Dead Darkness. But then he knows that much, but then similar to Angela, he doesn't know much beyond that. So then for him, there's no confirmation on whether or not he actually knows that Jim is a seasoned and experienced serial killer, or if he actually just knows that this one time Jim killed a person that just so happened to be his son, and then he actually went so far to actually kind of hide the evidence. And given what he is, I think he's just he's probably trying to actually kind of keep up the ominousness of it, and actually kind of play up tricks and try and scare Dexter into staying out of his way, or actually kind of cancelling this kind of manhunt he's got for Kurt. But then if he knows that Dexter is actually a serial killer, then it could also be his way of actually playing Dexter at his own game. So I don't know, but the ending did actually have the same guy who actually gave Harris the note being the same guy who actually kind of came up behind him to choke him out and everything. So who knows where it could all lead. But either way, I think Kurt definitely has like some feelings about Dexter, and this is his way of actually airing those feelings out and seeing where it leads and seeing how deep under Dexter's kind of skin he can really get and everything. So Molly and Angela grow ever suspicious about Jim because all the more kind of little details between them keep popping up too. I think what was it? I think the day after Angela told him that like Kurt Caldwell was her prime suspect, and even actually gave him the deets of like how he called off the search when they were in the caves and all that kind of stuff. But then he's also like literally the moment they're about to go arrest him after the DNA test comes through, like surprise surprise, he's sitting there eating cake and drinking coffee with Kurt in his own den. Like he's there at the exact moment, like he gets there right before them, and he's there for the moment that they're actually there to arrest him too. So for Molly, the fact that he actually managed to hear them all the way from over there, but then he couldn't have unless he was recording, because then again she remembers that he actually charged his phone and stuff, and then he actually knew, and then that's how he knew what they were talking about, and then he knew that they were going to the cabin, but both of them bouncing off with each other on all these kind of details that they've actually noticed about Jim and that they've actually discovered, and all these kind of things, like it's not possible, like how would he know this, or how would he actually do this if he didn't actually, if he wasn't within range or anything like that. So both of them both of them going from investigating Kurt and everything, but then wait, no. Oh, I was just about to mention that weird guy. I was just about to mention that weird guy who actually picked up the credit card. Could that have been the same guy that killed that gave Harrison the thing? Because then he knew Harrison, and but then he I think he knew his father, but then he actually, I think he didn't really mention Dexter by name or anything. So then I can't remember that. I think I actually might need to go back and check that episode where we saw the CCTV footage. But then now thinking about this guy who showed up and gave Harrison the odd job, and then also came out to check this too. I think the more I actually saw him, I think he actually did look slightly familiar. Kurt even had like a check of $5,000 written down to some kind of like Elric Crankle or Elric Crinkle, or like Elric something. So I don't know. Maybe he looks like an Elric or something, but I don't know. But could have been the same guy. Angela never even actually brought up the actual kind of the strange guy she saw on the actual CCTV, who was actually using Matt's credit card at the New York kind of hotel and everything. So she never brought that up. But then I wonder if that could have been the guy. I mean, maybe he actually paid him off to do that and everything. So yeah, I don't know, but either way, yeah, Angela and Dexter, Angela and Molly are actually discovering all the more things about Jim that kind of set them off just as much as Kurt does. So now, difference being, Angela knows that one extra tidbit about Dexter, but now I think maybe this might just lead her to wondering even more, because then, of course, he's a forensic scientist, so he knows to look for clues, and he knows to look for things in places that most people don't, but then, of course, him using all these different kind of investigative tactics that kind of borderline stalking and everything does also kind of set her off. So then maybe it's going to lead to another confrontation or like another investigation of exactly who he was and what he might be and everything. So, and of course Harrison fights back too. I think the boys from the school of the kid he broke, the kid whose arm he broke went to and everything, they came back for some light vengeance and everything. Never even got a hit in. So I think any attack against them would definitely kind of be like would it be aggravated assault, or I think would it be, because aggravated means that you'd actually, doesn't that usually mean you're attacked first, but then, or does it mean like I don't know, aggravated? Because aggravated, I think I don't know if the actually word for word implies that you get attacked first and then you hit back in retaliation or something. But I don't know. But then either way, the boys never truly got like an actual hit in or anything. They just got some kind of actual malicious words in, and then Harrison brought out like an actual blade and everything, which could have actually been used to kill them. And then I thought he actually might get the neck, or he might get the arm like a bit worse, like similar to how he got Ethan and everything. But no, this time he actually just kind of sliced open one of their coats and everything. So yeah, I mean in this weather you're gonna need some pretty thick, pretty good coats. So now that's some great kind of advertisement, if anything. Like, it protects you from the cold and it protects you from cheap razor blades. So surprise, surprise! They brought back yet another face in the past. And not only that, but then I'm pretty sure that they actually managed to film that as actual kind of extended footage from that scene. Like I think because that was before Dexter even got there. Because I thought from the blurriness, I thought that would have actually been Dexter himself actually coming home to find Rita like that, and actually coming home to try and rescue Harrison or something. But no, that was actually fully like nude John Lithgow after he got out of the tub after he murdered Rita, and then actually kind of patting Harrison on the head or something. So that was John Lithgow back as Trinity. So new footage, actually never before seen footage, actually were filmed exclusively for this show and everything. So God knows how. I think I don't know if they, I mean, given that the role is arguably one of his best as well, I don't know if they actually would have had to convince him to come back. Because even then, it's a very brief scene where he's partially nude and he's talking to a baby and everything. But still, I felt like maybe any kind of chance to come back and reinstate the kind of inherent kind of terror behind Trinity would always be a good opportunity to come back. But either way, they got him back and everything just for that one glimpse and everything. So that was cool, but it was also like a way for Harrison to confirm that he's been having nightmares over the years about Trinity, and then of course one kind of listen to Molly's podcast kind of brought everything flooding back, and it made the nightmares all the more real, and it actually made the memories all the more real. So he vividly remembers seeing Rita bleeding out and dying in the bathtub, and he vividly remembers Trinity, even addressing him directly and everything. So he remembers all of that. So that kind of stuff is exactly what led him to connect to all this. So then all the more stuff about Harrison's past is really kind of solidifying him to potentially have the same kind of trauma and maybe even the same kind of dark passenger in him that Dexter has. But then whether or not that leads him down the path towards kind of actual murderous evil, or whether it leads him down the path to just kind of being something else, is the journey that we have to look forward to. So seeing that kind of take place, going to be all the more interesting. But then I think because again I think he did see Kurt getting arrested, but then even then his reaction wasn't something like being shocked at like Kurt being arrested, he wasn't shocked to see, like he was shocked, but then he wasn't shocked in like a negative sense. It was more like he didn't even see Logan as like an actual officer doing his job. He just saw him as like a coach and everything. Who even his initial reaction was like, there must be something wrong, like Coach Logan, what are you doing arresting him, like you're a police officer? Oh yeah, wait, you are. So there's that too. So then again, like him, I think it kind of goes to show like how positively ingrained kind of Kurt is in his mind, that he almost anything he does wouldn't immediately tarnish that view of him. It would just be like you must have made some kind of mistake. Like Kurt would never hurt a fly. He gave me a job. He gave me a drone. He supports me more than my own father does and everything. So even if Kurt's kind of image does get tarnished in the public eye, I feel like in Harrison's eye, it's going to take like a fair amount to actually kind of fully embody him as like an actual negative influence and like a negative kind of being and everything. So seeing how all the more kind of further admission to his history and Dexter's kind of approach towards that admission influences him, it's gonna be interesting to see that. But then also seeing if he drifts further away from or even more towards Kurt as the end kind of draws closer and everything. So he emptied out the room completely, ripped out all the electronics, the furniture, the paint, even the wallpapers were tattered too, and the bathroom kind of sink and everything was broken. So he's emptied out the room. So then that kind of, on the one hand, that does remove that room of being any permissible kind of evidence. But then on the other hand, it's like but then that then raises the question, because he even said he doesn't intend to actually stay in jail for long, which he didn't. But then is he gonna go back to killing? Because then the room's gone. So is he gonna go back to killing on the road? Or I mean, smart thing would be I actually lay low for a while, because then now, even if you weren't actually put through as an actual kind of charged kind of convict, then you'd still have been a prime suspect in that murder case. You still have been arrested. You still have been taken to questioning. You still were pushed to the point where you needed to ask for your lawyer and everything. So then having then that kind of a reputation on his back now means that he would actually kind of need to lay low for a bit and actually let stuff kind of blow over and everything. But then also he had murder eyes looking at Molly and everything too. So then she might just be his next target with an actual kind of take two on trying to kidnap her and kill her and everything. So there's that. He already put his guy on Dexter to try and keep him off the grid too. So they did get a few steps ahead of actually trying to take him down and everything. So then that kind of attempt alone is enough to really kind of put him off and make him uneasy. So now he's actually going after people he thinks will be a viable threat. So things one at a time. So he's taking care of Molly, or at least he's planning on taking care of Molly, and then he's actually having his guy try and take down Dexter. So then the fact that he's actually not going after Dexter directly means that he's either not too worried about Dexter, or he actually doesn't know that Dexter is Dexter as a fellow serial killer actually does make for like an equal and equally kind of valuable kind of threat and everything. So I don't know, but I guess going forward we'll see. And then of course he's probably going to try and like apologize for all of this and actually try and justify all this Harrison too. And then Harrison's gonna be like, don't worry, I know you'd never do anything like that. So it's all good and it's all fine and everything. Because even with Harrison, like Audrey declined wanting to actually kind of spend like more time with him, because then she was worried about what direction he was heading after he broke that kid's arm and everything. So even he is kind of being distanced by people that he cares about, people he thought cared about him and everything. So again, the way it's going, I think they are kind of veering more towards like Kurt needing support now, and Harrison being willing to provide that support. So yeah, it's not looking too good. But yeah, for the most part, I think that's pretty much all I've got from this one. So again, a very fun one, a very interesting one, kind of like I'm putting Dexter and Kurt at even more at odds and uncovering more things and everything. So it'll be interesting to see where this all leads in the long run. So yeah, that is it for now though. So that was Dexter, New Blood, Season 1, Episode 7. So thank you guys, as always, so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like and comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next on New Blood and what you're looking forward to and what your kind of main takeaways are from this episode and everything. For those interested, the full-length reaction for this episode, as with all the episodes that came before it, will be available over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, for now that is it. So until the next time, bye bye for now.